ಮೀಟಿಂಗು ಇವತ್ತಿತ್ತು. ಅಂದರೆ ಇದು ಇದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಕರೆದಿರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಪ್ರತಿ ಗುರುವಾರ ಕ್ಯಾಬಿನೆಟ್ ಮೀಟಿಂಗ್ ನಡೀತಾ ಇತ್ತು. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಕ್ಯಾಬಿನೆಟ್ ಮೀಟಿಂಗ್ ಒಂದು ಮಾತ್ರ ಈ ವಿಚಾರನ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಚರ್ಚೆ ಮಾಡೋಣ ಅಂತೇಳಿ.
My Honorable Chief Minister was kind enough to announce a judicial inquiry. What we have found, what we have got internally, so action has been taken on some of them. Investigation is going on. The magistrate investigation, a judicial investigation, and again the cases has been referred to the COD. What more a government can do? The government has done its best to give justice and see that we will come out with a plan of action with such type of events in the future.
Now let me take you through the list of the people who have been arrested. Nikhil Sosale, the marketing head of RCB, he has been arrested. Sunil Matthew, VP Business Affairs, DN Entertainment Network Limited, arrested. Kiran Kumar, Senior Event Manager, DN Entertainment Network Private Limited. Sumant, employed Ticket Journey Solution Private Limited. These people have been arrested. Nikhil Sosale, the marketing and the revenue head for the RCB at the Diageo India, was one of the key figures allegedly responsible for the mismanagement and the tragedy that ensued. He was apprehended at the Bengaluru airport while attempting to board a flight to Mumbai. Now Sosale has moved the Karnataka High Court to challenge his arrest. Following the suspension of the top police officials last night, Intelligence Chief Hemant Nimbalkar has been transferred as part of the Karnataka government's administrative shake-up over the stampede. Karnataka CM Siddaramaiah's political secretary too has been transferred. Meanwhile, the suspension of the Bengaluru Police Commissioner B. Dayananda and the 4 other senior officers by Siddaramaiah government has the opposition up in arms. Now, number of cops have been suspended. On this issue, I am joined by S.T. Ramesh, former DGP Karnataka, and subsequently I will be joined by other guests, but let me just straight away go to S.T. Ramesh. Sir, my question to you, do you think that entire blame is being shifted on police the way lock, stock and barrel the commissioner has been suspended?
Yeah.
Do you think that the police is being made responsible for the entire event, as if it's the entire failure and the tragedy that took place is because of them?
Yeah. The entire sequence of events leading up to the unfortunate stampede and death of 11 innocent lives and injuries to more than 50 people, when you analyze the sequence, it is very clear that there are so many stakeholders who are responsible for this tragedy, and police is the least among them. So in this light, I would say the seemingly decisive action of the Chief Minister Siddaramaiah after the cabinet meeting to suspend en masse at least 3 senior police officers and 2 of the junior officers seems extremely unfair, unjust, knee-jerk, and an attempt to show that he means business. But I don't think it's going to have that kind of an effect. It is going to leave the police totally demoralized, and it may well prove to be counterproductive for the CM.
Let me, sir, take you through the people who have been suspended. B. Dayanand, Commissioner of Police, Bengaluru City, has been suspended. Vikash Kumar, ACP West Bengaluru City. Shekhar, DCP Central Division, Bengaluru City. C. Balakrishnan, ACP Kabban Park. A.K. Girish, Police Inspector, Kabban Park Police Station. These people have been suspended. So in entirety, the shake-up has happened. They have suspended the cops. But on this issue, sir, the opposition is saying that the top cop has been made a scapegoat to hide the government's own failure. Leader of opposition R. Ashok says that the suspension of the police officer is not right.
My view and analysis is independent. It is professional on the basis of facts and circumstances and evidence on the ground. So I won't go into the opposition leader's charge. First and foremost, I will tell you, if you permit me, a list of reasons why the suspensions were unfair and unjust. Can I? Hello?
Yes, please go ahead, sir.
Yeah. The suspension of a very senior officer like Dayananda, the Commissioner of the Bengaluru City, is unprecedented in the annals of Bengaluru City Police. There have been law and order problems, there have been crisis situations, but you can't always look for a fall guy. In this case, there are statutory lacunas, ethical lacunas, and several other technical lacunas. Number one, just because 11 people have been killed, which is extremely unfortunate, it saddens me as a Bangalorean. You just can't hang the Commissioner of Police. Firstly, no suspension can be made without a preliminary inquiry, which would establish what we call a prima facie case of misconduct or dereliction or whatever you may want to call it. There was no preliminary inquiry, whether it is Dayananda, the senior most officer in Bengaluru City, or the Kabban Park inspector, who is the junior most among the 5 people who have been placed under suspension, claiming they were responsible for the calamity. No preliminary inquiry is conducted, and each one's role is different. Commissioner supervises the entire city, and it percolates down. The Kabban Park inspector's jurisdiction is just the area surrounding the Kabban Park. He has got a jurisdiction, X square kilometers. That includes KSCA, the Karnataka State Cricket Association Stadium. So the role and responsibilities and functions of each one is different. And you can't club all of them and say you all failed. So individual wrong has to be fixed, and that will come only through a preliminary inquiry, and it may or may not establish a prima facie case of misconduct or dereliction.
Okay, sir. Just hold your thought for a minute. Let me play out the bite of the BJP leaders who are saying that this shifting out of the officers or suspension is incorrect. So let me play out the bite of R. Ashok first.
I have with me Mr. R. Ashok. He is the opposition leader, sir. How do you see what has happened yesterday and with the suspensions that have happened today morning? What is your take on it?
Say illegal, 100% the suspension of the police officer. There is no doubt at all. The entire public Karnataka, they are supporting the police now. So we also support the police because mistaken happened by the government, CM and Deputy CM. But you are targeting the police officers. Actually, the police people, they worked hard work in the celebration also, 3rd celebration, 4th also, rescue of the people. They went to hospital, they taken all the patient to hospital, treatment, everything done by the police. They are not done by the government. No CM, no Deputy CM. But you are targeting the police officer. You suspended 5 police officers because the case in the court, High Court, to avoid on the government, there is showing the court to police done a mistake. This is illegal. That's why we fight for the justice.
A constable from the Madiwala station marched to Raj Bhavan in solidarity, carrying Ambedkar's photo and wearing a black band. So there is anger in police about the way senior officers have been suspended. Isn't that, sir, correct?
It is true. I have already mentioned even before this, since I'm getting to know about this constable's march with the Ambedkar photo for the first time. I didn't know about it, but I knew, and I have mentioned in a piece which I wrote for the Hindu. It's appeared in the today's paper. that it is going to leave the police demoralized. Not only the city police, but the entire state police, because en masse suspension. What for? So I'll continue. So without a prima facie case, how can you suspend? You don't even suspend a constable, irrespective of rank. The due process has to be followed. Secondly, Dayananda has a reputation of being a very decent, honest, hard-working, sincere, tech-savvy, and a competent officer. Of course, the track record doesn't count when a particular misconduct is noticed, but then these are mitigating circumstances. You just take these things into account. How this officer has been. He has been extremely dedicated and committed. And to sacrifice him at the altar of convenience is extremely unethical. The third point is, the Home Minister, Deputy CM and the Chief Minister are aware that the entire Bangalore city was up and about on the intervening night of 3rd and 4th. All the Bangalore citizens will testify to the fact that there were celebrations right through the day. And the sound of crackers going off were renting the air. Right till the morning, there was people on the road, there were traffic chaos, and they were all doing night vigil. They must have returned home bleary-eyed at 4 a.m. or 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. And to make them do this bandobast and find some excuse to suspend senior officers, it is like treating them as beasts of burden.
Absolutely.
The function could have been, the government should have supported the police, the entire top brass of the government, the CM, Deputy CM and HM should have thrown their weight behind the commissioner and told him to hold it on a Sunday.
Couldn't less agree with you, sir.
You could make systematic arrangements, probably anticipating the crowd. Even if it is 5 lakhs, you could put huge screens across the city so that crowd is scattered. Was there time to do all this? How do you do that? How do you manage?
Sir. Sir, I've really run short of time. Thank you very much for joining me. I'm also now joined by Mohammad Wajidullah, my correspondent, Newsline, who covered this actual stampede. I'm joined by Amrit Shenoy, spokesperson, Congress Party, Surabhi Hodigere, spokesperson, BJP Karnataka. First, I'll take a quick comment from Surabhi. Surabhi, the suspension of the Bengaluru top cop, right or wrong?
Absolutely wrong. Absolutely wrong. From any angle that you look at it, it was the police that said no to the 3 celebrations, having a dual celebration when cops were overworked, when cops were stretched thin. And today, making them, part of this suspension with what evidence, with what reasoning? It is only to protect the top bosses, the political bosses. That's about it. Let's remember that the Deputy Chief Minister came out on the day of the incident and said that the police have done their job. They have done their job. We have nothing to blame them for. What changed in a matter of 12 hours, 6 hours? What changed was that public anger grew against the Chief Minister, the Deputy Chief Minister, as well as the Home Minister. And in order to protect themselves, they have come out with this sort of, allegation and suspension of the top cop. There could also have been fear that the top cops would have said, we did not want any celebration to take place. And the Chief Minister, his courtier, insisted. This is an act of protecting the political bosses, and that is apparent not just to the BJP, it is apparent to everybody. The former DGP has made very, fantastic points from the technical perspective. The political perspective here is that BJP Karnataka is not letting this go for the mere reason that you cannot allow for this kind of mismanagement, bad decision making, culpability, criminal negligence, and just walk away. The CM, the Deputy Chief Minister, the Home Minister must resign.
Okay, Mr. Shenoy, your response? Spokesperson, Congress Party from Karnataka. Mr. Shenoy?
Being in opposition, it is very usual and it is very natural for BJP to oppose any decisions of the government. I have no objection for that. But let me clear my stand. In our system, executive head is a government, ministers. And what circulars, orders, direction ministers give, implementing part belongs to the department bureaucrats. Let us take a police department as a unit. If the unit is headed by commissioner then some jurisdiction to the ACP, DCP, then the police inspector of that particular station. If they remain in the helm of the affairs, when there is an investigation against the entire department, it is better to keep them under suspension. Once the inquiry is over, Dayanand or anybody else may get clean chit so that he will continue with the same image. At present, government is just suspended them for a transparent, unbiased investigation. And government is also acting against not only police, those who are representatives of the RCB, those who are in the leadership in that state cricket association. So government is acting against all the stakeholders.
Okay.
When the government acts against all the stakeholders, government cannot spare police officers.
Okay,
This is
point
what
taken.
my reaction.
Okay, point taken. Wajiullah, tell me, what was the reason do you think that the government has shared with the reporters, journalists, as to why these officers have been suspended, Baji?
Well, Karthika, there has been a mounting pressure on the government with regards to what decision are they taking. Like I mentioned yesterday, that though the government has taken responsibility of what happened on that day, but accountability has to be set. Who is the person down the line who has to be? And Dayanand, unfortunately, was the fall guy here. Because like the Congress spokesperson just mentioned that in a democracy, the executive, the CM has and the ministers have the authority to take executive orders. Then the ministers in the own government have said that the decision of taking Dayanand out is not a right decision. There was intelligence failure. We have Ramlinga Reddy, the transport minister, who spoke about it. HK Patil, law minister, spoke about it. So the ministers within the own government have felt that the decision that was taken by the Chief Minister, DCM, after the cabinet was something that was not required, because as we all have seen, Dayanand, and like the former DGP also mentioned, he's an upright officer. He's tech savvy. He's been there. He's changed a lot of things. And on that fateful day, as much arrangement that could be done by the police has been done. It is the indecisiveness of the government, the management and the KSCA which caused a lot of confusion. Though a case has been registered against the RCB and the KSCA management, what happened with the commissioner and the police is something that even the people have felt is wrong, because now there is petition against, there is a signing petition which says that we stand with the commissioner. So all these things are happening as we speak. So the decision of taking the commissioner is a knee-jerk decision is what I feel, because the government has acted in haste. Yes, there may be lapses from the police side also, but you need to understand the situation and for how many hours the police was on the ground and what all happened on that day, the number of crowd. So taking a call and to justify that, they've also suspended, they've also removed the political advisor, Mr. Govind Raju, also from the post. So all these things somewhere or the other gives an indication that that there is a panic situation in the government. They are trying as much as they could to do the damage control, and the damage control itself is damaging them. Okay, damage control is damaging them. Surabhi.
The Congress spokesperson themselves said that it was the police that implemented, but the political and decision making that made the decision, took the call to have these two events. It has come out through multiple sources, credible sources, multiple times, that the police were against this kind of celebration in dual venues. If that is so, if you are going to investigate and inquire against the police, who's going to investigate and inquire and ask these questions of the Chief Minister, the Deputy Chief Minister and the Home Minister? What kind of suspension should they be put under then? No accountability for the political bosses. What type of hypocrisy is this? The police who said don't do the event are being put under investigation and suspended, but the political bosses get to walk away scot-free. And let's remember that the Deputy Chief Minister D.K. Shivkumar was present at the stadium event that as of now we have understood was unauthorized by the police. Why was the DCM present in an event that was not authorized at all, which led to the deaths of these 11 people? What about these decisions that were made?
Is this correct? Is this correct, Mr. Shenoy? Mr. Shenoy, is this correct?
See, I am absolutely clueless, but BJP spokesperson is very authentic on what police suggested to the government, what government should have done.
I mentioned credible sources.
It is the duty of, see, let me clear. it is the duty of an opposition to showcase the failure of the government. Government honestly agrees there is a failure, and government admits that because of this failure, 11 lives have gone. But let us correct ourselves. Where we failed, how we failed, what went wrong, which person had done most irresponsible job. So to do this investigation, it is necessary to keep some officers suspended. Nothing else I would like to say.
What about the Chief Minister,
I don't
DCM?
know.
Mr. Shenoy,
What police suggested
Mr.
to the
Shenoy, Mr.
government?
Shenoy, no, very quickly, Surabhi, then I have a question for Vajiullah because I interviewed ST Ramesh, former DGP Karnataka. He had one very important point to make. Surabhi, very quickly.
The FIR against RCB KSCA mentioned that the stadium event was unauthorized. If so, why did the DCM go to that event? Why? Why was the government hell-bent on doing an event in Vidhan Sauda where only ministers, MLCs, MLAs, their families were present? Why should suspension of police officers happen if you think that that's going to cause a fair inquiry? Why should the inquiry not happen against the political bosses, the CM, the DCM themselves? How can you take that away?
Vaji,
Don't say, just one last point. Please don't. This is a learning lesson. This is not some learning lesson for the government. 11 lives being lost, 56 being injured is not a learning point in your government's history.
Okay. Vaji, the former DGP Karnataka, Mr. ST Ramesh said one thing. He said when you take an action against senior officers like commissioners, there has to be some inquiry. You need to have some sort of an inquiry. He was saying that without an inquiry, you have suspended him.
Absolutely, Karthik. They will have to justify on what basis was the commissioner suspended, because the Home Minister under whom the police department comes, the Home Minister had himself said that having a huge rally will not be possible. Having the bus around will not be possible because there will be a law and order situation. A lot of people are coming. So that is somewhere or the other the version of the police itself which is coming out of the Home Minister's mouth. So now if you have gone ahead and suspended the commissioner, that to the commissioner, this is the first time that something like this has ever happened in Karnataka, where the top boss of the police department has been suspended for something like this, when there is already a magisterial inquiry going on. They've also called in for a judicial inquiry. Now today the CID has just taken up the case. So all this will be something that the government will have to respond, and like we're seeing that their argument is that it's a learning thing. Learning at the cost of people's life is something which cannot be called as learning. I also agree with
I at the end of it believe that there is a loss of narrative for the government. The government is not in position to defend itself, and what was happening that day and what happened in context of the stampede, the way the crowd was managed, it just goes on to show that the civil administration, the people who were in charge, were in complete disarray. There was no way in which one can say that they had a plan to manage such a big event, and that is why the stampede took place. And I think I completely agree with Surabhi. It's not about lesson. This case is now about accountability, and pure play accountability must be fixed. So this was on point one. In the second on point, we have an exclusive conversation with Union Minister Hardeep Singh Puri on the 11 years of Prime Minister Modi after a short break. I am joined by Hardeep Singh Puri, Union Minister for Petroleum and Natural Gas. Sir, thank you very much for making time for News 9. And let me begin this interview by asking you a question. How has India's energy security been reshaped in last 11 years, where global markets have been volatile and neighborhood uncertain?
See, I think any assessment on our energy situation in terms of where we stand today is significant, not just for the last 11 years. That's where the work was done. But I think it assumes even a larger salience and significance if you look at the last post-47 period. Why is it relevant for the larger period? I don't think there has been any point in our history before the Prime Minister assumed charge where we have looked at issues of energy with this kind of a sharp focus. Let me explain to you. Between 2006 and 16, we had another government till between 2006 and 14. We had entered into a large number of contracts, which I'm having to face the legal ramifications